Breaking news, President Trump lashing out at Pope Leo, and tonight the image the president posted, appearing to depict Trump as Jesus. The image drawing outrage from many of his own supporters, some calling it blasphemy. President Trump tonight says he did post it, and what the president says he sees in that image. Just in tonight, the stunning fall, well-known Democrat Congressman Eric Swalwell, near the top of the race for California governor, pulling out of the race, and just moments ago, revealing he is now resigning from Congress. Multiple women accusing him of sexual misconduct, and what he's now saying tonight. Also breaking tonight, the war in Iran, the peace talks failing. Tonight, President Trump ordering a naval blockade of Iranian ports. That blockade now underway tonight. President Trump's new warning and Iran's warning tonight about what could happen to gas prices in the U.S. And what the president said about these high gas prices, that they could last through the midterm elections. The new and disturbing turn tonight involving the 18-year-old high school senior and cheerleader found dead on a cruise ship. Tonight, her 16-year-old stepbrother charged with murder, charged as an adult, and what we've now learned. Tonight, for the first time, we hear from the husband of that missing wife and mother who he says fell off the boat and was swept away. Tonight, in his own words, you'll hear the phone call, what he says happened on that boat. Tonight, now a second alarming incident at the home of OpenAI CEO Sam Altman. One suspect accused of throwing a Molotov cocktail at the home. Now comes word someone shot toward the home. Tonight, news of more arrests. As we come on tonight, the tornado watches and dangerous storms set to move right across the country. And in the east tonight, bracing for record highs, 80s and 90s. Ginger is here. Tonight, the plane making an emergency landing on a busy street, trying to avoid the cars. The message to his parents, Rory McIlroy, and what he said to his mom and dad, who were unable to make it to his first Masters win, so he won it again, and what he said to them right after. And tonight, so many of you watching it live right here on ABC, the astronauts coming home, and what's now happened since, including astronaut Christina Cook and one very excited dog.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. We begin tonight here with the breaking news. President Trump lashing out at Pope Leo, of course, the first American pope, after the Pope's comments on the war in Iran. And tonight, the president also igniting outrage over an image he posted, the image appearing to depict the president as Jesus. The image drawing backlash from many of his own supporters, some calling it blasphemy. The president tonight says he did post it, and what the president says he sees in that image. And tonight, Pope Leo now reacting to President Trump, who called the Pope weak and terrible on foreign policy, and what the Pope is now saying tonight. ABC's Mary Bruce leading us off from the White House.
Tonight, as President Trump ramps up his attacks on Pope Leo, he finds himself under fire for posting this picture that appears to depict him as Jesus. Many of the president's own supporters outraged, some calling it blasphemy. And today, Trump took the picture down, claiming he thought it showed him as a doctor.
Did you post that picture of yourself depicted as Jesus Christ?
Well, it wasn't depicted. It was me. I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor.
The president adamant.
It's supposed to be me as a doctor, making people better. And I do make people better. I make people a lot better.
It comes amid that remarkable clash, the American president lashing out at the first American pope.
Pope Leo said things that are wrong. He was very much against what I'm doing with regard to Iran.
Pope Leo has called President Trump's threats to destroy Iranian civilization truly unacceptable.
Attacks on civilian infrastructure is against international law, but that it is also a sign of the hatred, the division, the destruction that the human being is capable of.
Overnight, the president posting Pope Leo is weak on crime and terrible for foreign policy, adding, "I don't want a pope who criticizes the president of the United States because I'm doing exactly what I was elected in a landslide to do." Today, the pope responding, saying he's not afraid of Trump.
I have no fear of neither the Trump administration nor speaking out loudly about the message of the gospel. We're not politicians. We're not looking to make foreign policy, as he calls it, with the same perspective that he might understand it. But I do believe that the message of the gospel, blessed are the peacemakers, is a message that the world needs to hear today.
Today, American Catholic leaders condemning Trump's attacks. Bishop Robert Barron, who sits on the president's Religious Liberty Commission, calling his words entirely inappropriate and disrespectful, saying he owes Pope Leo an apology.
There's nothing to apologize for. He's wrong.
Not apologizing to the Pope and not apologizing for posting that picture. But tonight, the White House has taken it down. Again, David, the president under fire for posting that picture. He says he thought it showed him as a doctor, but the vice president just moments ago saying something different, saying, quote, I think the president was posting a joke. And of course, he took it down because he recognized a lot of people weren't understanding his humor. David.
Mary Bruce leading us off from the White House tonight. Mary, thank you. The other breaking story, the stunning fall tonight. Democrat Congressman Eric Swalwell, who was near the top of the race for California governor, pulling out of the race, and then just a short time ago revealing he is resigning now from Congress after multiple allegations of sexual misconduct. What he's now saying tonight, and here's Rachel Scott.
He was a leading candidate in the California governor's race, one of the most prominent Democrats in Congress. But tonight, Eric Swalwell's campaign is over. And just moments ago, he announced his career in the House is too. Swalwell will resign his seat amid a flurry of sexual misconduct allegations. Allegations he has denied.
These allegations of sexual assault are flat false. They are absolutely false. They did not happen.
The San Francisco Chronicle and CNN reporting 4 women accused Swalwell of inappropriate behavior. One former staffer telling CNN Swalwell sexually assaulted her twice in 2019 and again in 2024.
I can recall I was pushing him off of me saying no.
ABC News has not been able to independently verify the woman's claims. The congressman calls the allegations false.
I have certainly made mistakes in judgment in my past, but those mistakes are between me and my wife. And to her, I apologize deeply for putting her in this position.
For days, top Democrats and dozens of current and former Swalwell staffers demanding he resign. And tonight, it happened. The congressman writing, I must take responsibility and ownership for the mistakes I did make. It's also wrong for my constituents to have me distracted from my duties.
There was immense pressure on Swalwell to resign. Even a number of Democrats said that they would have supported a move to expel him from Congress. It is a remarkable fall for someone who was once considered a star of the Democratic Party, David.
Rachel Scott with the breaking headline from The Hill tonight. Rachel, thank you. Meantime, tonight, the war in Iran, peace talks failing over the weekend. And tonight, President Trump now ordering a U.S. naval blockade of Iranian ports. That blockade now underway. And Iran's new warning tonight here about what could now happen to gas prices in the U.S. and how long President Trump now says these high gas prices could last. Ian Pannell in the region again tonight.
Tonight, a major showdown in the critical Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. Navy imposing a blockade of all Iranian ports to cut off its oil income and try to force Iran to make concessions after peace talks collapsed. At least 2 oil tankers under U.S. sanctions turning around before sailing through the strait, but it's unclear why. A third appearing to test the blockade and cross the strait. Over the weekend, Iran releasing this video, claiming to show a tense standoff between Iranian forces and a U.S. destroyer crossing the strait.
You must alter course and go back to the Indian Ocean immediately.
This is Coalition Warship 121, engaged in transit passage in accordance with international law. No challenge is attended to you.
President Trump announcing that blockade after high-level talks with Iran failed to reach a breakthrough. The president and his family attending a UFC fight in Miami Saturday night with Secretary of State Rubio as word was breaking that negotiations were falling apart. Our Martha Raddatz in Pakistan.
The marathon meeting took place at this hotel in downtown Islamabad. It was said to be cordial, but after 21 hours, J.D. Vance emerged and said they had failed to reach an agreement.
The president saying talks broke down over Iran's nuclear ambitions.
Iran will not have a nuclear weapon, and we're going to get the dust back. We'll get it back either. We'll get it back from them or we'll take it.
Iran tonight with its own threat on gas prices, warning with the blockade, the U.S. will soon be nostalgic for $4 and $5 gas. And tonight, oil prices hovering around $100 a barrel. Gas prices in the U.S. now averaging $4.09 a gallon, up $1.15 since the start of the war. And the president in an interview now suggesting prices could stay that high or even higher through the midterm elections this November.
So do you believe the price of oil and gas will be lower before the midterm elections?
I hope so. I mean, I think so. It could be. It could be or the same or maybe a little bit higher. But it should be around the same. I think this won't be that much longer.
David, this blockade aimed at putting pressure on Iran, but it also means high gas and oil prices and ships at a standstill. The president tonight, though, claiming Iran wants to make a deal, but we've heard that before. David.
Ian Panel live tonight as well. Thank you, Ian. Back in the U.S., the disturbing new turn tonight involving the 18-year-old high school senior and cheerleader found dead on a cruise ship. Her 16-year-old stepbrother now charged tonight with murder, charged as an adult. Here's Rhiannon Alley.
Tonight, we're learning new disturbing details about the death of 18-year-old Anna Kepner, the Florida teen killed during a family cruise. A federal grand jury now indicting her then 16-year-old stepbrother as an adult on charges of first-degree murder and aggravated sexual abuse. In newly unsealed court documents, investigators allege Kepner was sexually assaulted before she was killed in international waters. The cause of death, mechanical asphyxiation. A source telling ABC News it was from a bar hold across the neck.
Her cause of death was asphyxiation. She, what do they call it, a bar hold?
Yes.
Where you take the elbow like this.
Her body was discovered hidden inside the family's cruise cabin, wrapped in a blanket under a bed and concealed with luggage and life jackets as the ship returned to Miami. The stepbrother, referred to as TH in the documents, was initially charged as a juvenile, surrendered to police in February, but a judge released him from custody and allowed him to live with a family member. Tonight, Anna's parents saying our family is devastated by the loss of Anna and continues to grieve this unimaginable tragedy, adding that they're deeply concerned and troubled. The suspect is not in police custody. David, authorities say the case is being handled federally because the alleged crime happened in international waters. The teenage suspect, whose name is not being released due to his age, could face life in prison if convicted. David? Rhiannon Alley tonight. Rhiannon, thank you. Tonight, for the first time, we now hear from the husband of that missing wife and mother who says she fell off the boat and was swept away. Tonight here, in his own words, the phone call. What he says happened on that boat. Here's Victor Oquendo.
Tonight, the husband of missing American mother and wife Lynette Hooker released after 5 days in police custody in the Bahamas.
Do you have any message for anyone?
Brian Hooker not responding to any questions as he left the Central Police Station moments ago.
The first victory is he's out of here tonight.
Brian's lawyer saying he was emotional after being released.
He was just very grateful and he was very happy that he's out.
The news coming as we heard Brian's account for the first time in his own words of the moment he says Lynette was swept away by the current after falling from the couple's small dinghy.
The wind blew us apart so fast that I think she tried to swim back to the sailboat, back to our sailboat, which was probably, I don't know, 1,000 yards or something. But the waves were 3 foot.
In a phone call to a friend made the day before he was arrested, Brian Hooker saying he tried to rescue her.
I threw her a flotation cushion that we used to sit on the dinghy, right after she went in. But I couldn't tell if she got it or not. I'm never going to forgive myself.
Bahamian authorities interviewing Brian for a second time more than 1 week after he says Lynette vanished. Lynette's mother says she just wants the truth.
I have many, many questions that I still really would like answered. There's just uncertainties on different points of the story, and it's all being investigated, and I can't ask for much more than that.
And David, we also asked if there were any conditions for his release. His attorney did not disclose any. David?
Victor Oquendo on this for us again. Thank you, Victor. Tonight, just in here, charges we're learning of after that alarming incident at the home of OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, a leader in artificial intelligence. A suspect accused of throwing a Molotov cocktail at the home is now charged with attempted murder tonight. Here's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, new details as authorities investigate a pair of alarming incidents at the San Francisco home of OpenAI CEO Sam Altman. Authorities charging 20-year-old Daniel Alejandro Moreno Gama with attempted murder. The newly unsealed surveillance images appear to show him throwing a Molotov cocktail over Altman's front gate early Friday morning. The Justice Department says the suspect then traveled to OpenAI headquarters with kerosene in his backpack. Images appear to show him striking the glass doors with a chair. Today, authorities searching the suspect's Texas home. Late Friday, Sam Altman posted this image of his family, saying, "I'm sharing a photo in the hopes that it might dissuade the next person from throwing a Molotov cocktail at our house." But less than 48 hours later, authorities were called to the house again.
A Honda sedan drove past this residence
Sounds like possibly one shot was fired.
Law enforcement sources tell ABC News they believe Altman's home was targeted in that shooting. Police arresting 25-year-old Amanda Tom and 23-year-old Mohammed Tariq Hussein. And David, as for that firebombing suspect now charged with attempted murder, investigators say they're looking into his mental health, and they also claim they found a document he had expressing an interest in killing AI executives. David.
Trevor Alt reporting tonight. Thanks, Trevor. When we come back, we are tracking dangerous storms right now moving across the country, and then 80s and 90s in the east tomorrow, D.C., Philadelphia, New York. Ginger Z standing by in the storm. She's here right after the break. Also, look at this, the emergency landing, the plane trying to avoid cars on the road. And that moving message to his parents, Rory McIlroy, whose parents weren't there last year when he won, so he won the Masters again. And what he said to them moved millions who were watching. In a moment. So tonight we're tracking some potentially dangerous storms right now, tornado watches at this hour. So let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z. Hi, Ginger.
Hi, David. We've already seen a baseball-sized hail report in Faribault, Minnesota. There are tornado watches through central Wisconsin and flood watches because they've got a snowpack from Green Bay to Cadillac and Traverse City up to Marquette, and those training thunderstorms will keep going tonight. Tomorrow, we get this large area from Cleveland back to the Mexican border in Texas that's involved in severe storms, but Milwaukee, Chicago, and Des Moines are all in that level 3 out of 5. Tornadoes are certainly in play. Large hail then, too. And here in the East Coast, it's nice today. It is going to be downright hot, breaking records this week. 88 possible for New York City. And David, Washington, D.C. could easily see their first 90 of the season. That's about a month ahead of average.
All right, Ginger Z with us. We'll see you first thing in the morning. Thanks, Ginger. When we come back here, the emergency landing, the plane trying to avoid cars, you'll see it. And he did it again, Rory McIlroy. And what he said to his parents right after, moving millions who were watching. To the index, a small plane making an emergency landing on a busy road in Phoenix, a seaplane avoiding cars, hitting a fire hydrant and a tree. All 3 people on board were able to get out on their own. Authorities say they had engine trouble, and they say 100% a miracle avoiding all those cars. He's done it again, back-to-back green jackets for golfer Rory McIlroy. McIlroy winning the Masters again. McIlroy, whose parents didn't make it last year, had them right there this year and getting emotional, thanking them.
Mom and Dad, I owe everything to you. You are...
The crowd helping him out. McIlroy also marking his big win with his 5-year-old daughter, Poppy, joking she loves the Masters because of the unlimited ice cream. When we come back here tonight, so many of you watching it live right here with us on ABC, the astronauts coming home. But you have to see what's happened since, including one very excited dog in a moment.
ABC World News Tonight with David Muir, sponsored by Afrin.
Tonight, America Strong. Nearly 10 million of you watched it with us. A homecoming well-earned. Here's Gio Benitez.
We were live on the air for the re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere.
4 heroes almost here. The crew of Artemis II is in the final stages of this historic and truly inspiring journey.
Traveling at 24,000 miles per hour, facing temperatures of 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
Houston, Integrity, we have you loud and clear.
Incredible.
The parachutes deploying.
This is picture perfect.
There's the splashdown.
The splashdown, and the first moments we see the astronauts.
Our first look at the Artemis II astronauts emerging from the Orion capsule.
And tonight, the new images of the moment rescue teams made first contact with the crew, shared by Dr. Jesse Wang, the lead doctor on board the USS Murtha. The 4 astronauts getting a hero's welcome back at Mission Control in Houston. Commander Reed Weissman emotional, reflecting on the journey.
Before you launch, it feels like it's the greatest dream on Earth. And when you're out there, you just want to get back to your families and your friends.
Commander Weissman here reuniting with his 2 daughters. Artemis pilot Victor Glover's neighbors in Houston welcoming him home with cheers lining the streets. Afterward, Glover smiling with his wife and 4 daughters. Mission specialist Jeremy Hansen with his wedding ring floating in zero gravity, thankful he got home in time for his 23rd wedding anniversary with his wife Catherine. And scratching at the door in Jacksonville, North Carolina, mission specialist Christina Cook's dog, Sadie, is really glad to see her. Cook sharing the video saying, "I'm still pretty sure I was the happier side of the reunion." Tonight, all 4 heroes now home.
And we say welcome home and thank you to all of you at home who watched right here. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
David Muir, the most trusted anchor in America, the most watched anchor in America. Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir the #1 newscast in America.